Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Quite a big day for Manchester United. Let's get into the big story of this Wednesday, really, to be honest with ourselves. And that is Richard Arnold has been sacked by Manchester United. Now, look, it's coming down as a mutual agreement. It's coming down as, oh, nice words, pleasant goodbyes. Oh, thank you very much for your service, Richard, for 16 years. But well and truly, this is big news for Manchester United. And this is what I would call an enemy of the club, an enemy of our fan base, and an enemy of what we want this team to be, has been purged by Manchester United. He's chose to jump before he has been pushed. He has left the club with immediate effect as CEO. And I, for one, I am very, very happy with this development. Of course, Joel Glazer and Richard Arnold have spoke today. Joel Glazer said, "I would like to thank Richard for his outstanding service over the last 16 years and wish him every success in all of his future endeavours. And we are fortunate to be able to work with Richard as well throughout this time. It has been a pleasure. And now we pass on to Patrick Stewart to provide stability in the coming weeks." I mean, I am absolutely delighted with this. I've been saying for a long time, the sooner Richard Arnold is gone, the sooner the likes of John Murtoughs are gone, the better this football team's going to be, the better we're going to be off the pitch, and the better we are off the pitch, the better we're going to be on the pitch. And the same goes for Richard Arnold going. It's going to be the same when John Murtoughs goes, when Darren Fletcher goes, when we actually get people in charge of our football club who know what they want to do. Richard Arnold has said as well, it's been an incredible privilege to serve this great football club over the last 16 years, through the highs and the lows. The constant has been the dedication of the employees and the supporters. I would like to thank them all very much for their loyalty, and I wish everyone associated with the club all the best for the future. Very, very, very happy with this. Of course, we do have a new CEO today. It's an interim position, going to be filled by Patrick Stewart, not the guy from Star Trek, not the guy, not the actor. It's going to be United's chief counsel in legal matters and stuff. It's only a transitional thing before we actually get somebody who knows who will be and what they're going to be doing. And I can tell you for a fact, I already know who it's going to be. You guys know who it's going to be. It's going to be Jean-Claude Blanc, a man with a big track record of success, a big track record of working at top clubs and helping to steer around their futures and bringing stability, of course, redeveloping stadiums as he's went along, building the brand, making a healthier environment and creating an environment geared towards success. And Jean-Claude Blanc will be a fantastic appointment as our CEO, a massive upgrade on what we have, and that is everything we need. We are moving towards being a proper football club off the pitch for the first time since the Glazer family took over, and this is the immediate kind of change I want to see. I want to see this happen quick. I do believe by the end of the week, Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be officially in office at Manchester United and real change will start to begin. Make no mistake about it, this is not Richard Arnold leaving on good terms, mutually agreeing to go. He has decided to jump ship before he is pushed out the door by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He's probably going to get a big payday. He probably already has several millions that he's made off getting sacked in this way. And you know what, guys? I really don't care, because this is what we have to be doing. So asking you guys in the poll, is this the right move? Is it a yes? Is it a no? Or is that even a question to begin with? Because the answer seems so incredibly obvious to every single one of us Manchester United fans watching this happen at the minute. Jean-Claude Blanc, very excited for the future. I want to see what Patrick Stewart is saying as well. He said, along with my colleagues in the management team, my job will be to ensure the foundations of the club remain stable while adapting to the changes that will make us stronger in the long term, on the pitch and off the pitch, to support the search for a new permanent Director General and CEO of Manchester United. So it's happening. It is good to see. I'm very, very, very happy with these developments. I'm sure you guys are as well. This is what we wanted to see. This is what we were calling for a very long time. And finally, we find ourselves in this position. A new CEO, it levels us up. Bringing Blanc in is going to put us at least off the pitch level with the likes of City and Arsenal and Liverpool in having competent people running this show. It's not going to be some Glazer stooge who has helped them buy over the club. This is actually going to be somebody who knows what they're doing. And I think this is a very exciting time for Manchester United. Richard Arnold, the first to go. Make no mistake, there will be a lot to come in the near future. There will be a lot of development in that case, and I'm sure you guys are really looking forward to that as well. Of course, a real purge does need to happen. Get those thoughts in down below, guys. Drop a like on the video as well if you haven't already, and let's get into it. What does this mean for Manchester United? Nothing but good news in my opinion, and honestly, very, very, very happy with that as well. I want to bring you guys some other stuff as well. First and foremost, United played behind closed doors friendly for a lot of the squad players not on international duty, and that was yesterday against Hull. Anthony, Donny van de Beek were two of the players who played in that match. No real updates in terms of the score or anything that happened, but it's good to have some minutes in the squad. It's going to be something we need. Samuel Luckhurst as well. John Murtoughs' role is now believed to be under threat as Sir Jim Ratcliffe seeks to begin his overhaul at Manchester United. Very happy with that development as well. More people coming in who know what they're doing, and we will see talk about Arnold modernising the football structure, but that was only done in name. It was internal appointments. It was people who were not good enough or would not stand up and demand better of this club and of this board, and that's going to be really good for us. Interestingly enough, and this is a man we have seen talked about a lot as well, and that is Sir Dave Brailsford. So Sir Dave Brailsford has been visiting Carrington for the last 2 weeks. For anyone unfamiliar with his background, he is of course the head of, well, formerly Team Sky in terms of the actual cycling. Now it's the Ineos team, of course. Very, very involved with the Ineos project as a whole. Was brought into Nice really to oversee a full-fledged audit of the club, see the inner working, see who was good enough, who wasn't good enough, who needed to be let go, who needed to be brought in. That's kind of what he's going to do at Manchester United, and this is the kind of change we want to see. It's a new era. It is a new era for this football club, and it's an exciting one. We want and we are going to be striving towards success. Will this be immediate change? I don't know if it's going to be as quick as we want it to be, and as much as terms of getting rid of Arnold and Murtagh and Darren Fletcher, bringing people in who know what they're doing to replace those guys. It's going to take a while really for that to pay dividends, but these are the kind of long-term changes gearing us towards success that we want to see at Manchester United, and it's definitely a much, much more positive sign. I think it was last night somebody said there is light at the end of the tunnel. Look, it might be a long tunnel, but we will get there. We will be back to where we want to be as a club. I'm not guaranteeing success, but I am guaranteeing we will be going for trophies. We will act as a football club, not a business, and we will begin to become a better team on and off the pitch. Jean-Claude Blanc, of course, set to become the new CEO once the 25% purchase has been complete. There is talk that this might take around about 4 to 6 weeks for everything to be in place, and that's not in terms of Ratcliffe coming in, but that's in terms of new CEO, that's in terms of the new board. So it's probably going to be a fresh start for the year 2024, and I think 2023 has taught us a lot about this team, a lot about the club. I think we have a really good manager. I think we have some good players. I think genuinely, despite that, I don't think we will ever be successful with this ownership model, with these guys calling the shots, and I do think absolutely that these are the steps we need to be making, and there might be small steps for now, but this is going to pay off in the long run. It really is. And I'm excited. Jean-Claude Blanc with Manchester United, I'm excited for that. He is a man, of course, who really revolutionised what Paris Saint-Germain were all about off the pitch, made them an absolute marketing super attraction, who brought in the best deals, who brought in the best sponsorships, who managed to really increase the value of that team through his off-the-field work. Give the likes of Campos, brought in sporting directors at that club as well. Did a lot of good at PSG. I think Juventus is the most interesting because that is that he walked into Juventus in a very, very similar position that Manchester United found ourselves in. Now, look, we were not relegated for match fixing, but we were a team certainly playing a long way beneath ourselves. We were a team certainly lost in the wilderness, needing a new stadium, needing new development, needing a brand new approach, and that is what he brought to Juventus, and I think he's going to bring it to Manchester United as well. So really exciting times. And a lot of what he has done, his track record, really good work throughout that career of his. And what that really has allowed him to do at Juventus is build a modern football team from the ground up. A team who got rid of the old players. He brought a lot of young players in, set them up for future success, redeveloped the stadium, brought in a brand new ground, lots of training ground work as well. Everything that Manchester United need, Jean-Claude Blanc has done already in his career at big clubs at the top level where the pressures to succeed are there. This is a smart appointment. This really is, in my opinion. Any thoughts, guys? Make sure to get them in down below. Thanks very much for everyone dropping the likes, voting the poll as well. Interestingly, 14% of people are saying that it is not the right move to sack Richard Arnold. If you guys have voted no on that, I would love to know why. Let me know your thoughts down below. Exciting news as well. For everyone in terms of the sporting stuff, the actual director of football stuff, this is what's really going to make a difference, certainly on the pitch, and that is Paul Mitchell. So according to Santi Awunya, Paul Mitchell as sporting director is wanted by Manchester United. He is ready to join, but some details have not yet been finalised. United are also holding talks with Michael Edwards and Dougie Freedman. I mean, if we're bringing Paul Mitchell, Michael Edwards, Dougie Freedman in, I mean, that's genuinely such a shift in focus and quality and ability and track record and genuine experience at this sort of level compared to what we have. That is the equivalent of it's the equivalent of going at a walking pace to going at the speed of a Ferrari. It's genuinely really, really good and exciting, and that's going to revolutionize us on the pitch in terms of the players we're bringing in, long-term strategies, the stuff that we fans have been calling for a very, very, very long time indeed. And I'm so excited for this, guys. I really am. Look, we know this Ratcliffe deal was not what we wanted. We know that we wanted full ownership. We wanted a full sale. Glazer family gone. We wanted lots of money put in from the get-go. We're not getting that. Unfortunately, it's not going to be Qatari ownership. For anyone who might have any lingering hopes, it's not going to happen. Sorry to stamp on anybody's dreams there, but that is genuinely what's going to happen. It's going to be the Ratcliffe web, and what he's doing so far, I cannot complain about. There's money going in, £250 million coming into the club. There is a new CEO. There is Paul Mitchell. There might be Michael Edwards. There might be Dougie Freedman, and that is genuinely what this football club needs. A hard reset at the board level, and that's what we've been saying for a long, long, long time, and I'm sure you guys agree. It's not just the players. It's not just the manager. All this comes from the top down. Once the top is focused on success on the pitch, building the best team possible, that's when we're really going to find ourselves in a position to really progress as a team, as a squad, as a football club. And it's happening right now before our eyes. It really is. This takeover took a long time to get to this point. It really has dragged out a lot, but what I think we can say is that we are seeing now the plan is starting. The new era is beginning. Manchester United, we might be on our way to becoming a serious club again. I'm not going to say we're back. I'm not going to say anything of the sort, but I am going to say we're taking the steps in the right direction, bringing the right people in the right roles, giving them the amount of power they need to really change things at this club. And of course, the longer it goes on, the better it's going to get as well. The longer we give these guys to make an impact at the club, the better it's going to be, the more success we're going to have. And the same goes for Sir Jim as well, because the longer he's here, the more control he's going to get. And eventually, the Glazer family will be no longer at Manchester United. And that is something that we really do have to be excited about. Light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I'm going to call it. It's not that we have suddenly flicked a switch and we're a serious football club again, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is definite progress going to be made, and we're bringing the right people in to make that happen. And that genuinely is exciting, and I'm sure all of you guys feel the same as well. Drop a like on the video, get your comments in as well. Of course, as always, guys, we do go through every single comment on the show. Want to get reading through all of your thoughts as well. Keep voting on the poll. I do want to rubbish this story as well, though, just whilst we are here as well, and that is coming in from Disco Mirror. So Jadon Sancho has refused to apologise to Erin Ten Hag and in their personal feud, despite being encouraged to do so by his teammates and by senior figures at the club. Now, we know this already, But it was, of course, John Cross, who was running for the Daily Star. He said Erin Ten Hag had been told by Sir Jim to end the feud with Jadon Sancho. That is complete and utter nonsense. Just completely ignore that kind of story. We do not need to be looking at that story either. And that is really something that we can disregard. I have every confidence that we're going to be backing Erik Ten Hag in that decision. Yeah, but look, guys, we're getting towards the end of this. We are getting rid of the past. We are moving towards a brand new future at the club. It might take longer than what we wanted. It might not be the immediate change we want, but it's definitely going to happen. According to the Times as well, Paul Mitchell is strongly favoured to become the new sporting director once the Ineos deal is complete. And of course, that would leave room for a director of football as well. And that's maybe where we're going to see Dougie Freedman step in. That could be an exciting appointment, because we've seen today there was confirmation from United Stand. They basically had done some groundwork, they'd done some research, they'd asked the right people some questions, and John Murtoughs is not under immediate threat at this moment in time, not in the short term at least. But you do have to feel that that's ahead who is his role, and that will be a change that will come in time as well. And I think that's a good point to make as well. According to Times as well, it's expected that the Ineos investment will be completed during this international break. Sources believe the announcement is likely to come by the end of this week or early next week. So expect this either Friday or Monday. I would say Friday. And the reason I say Friday is not due to United being quick at things. It's not due to this sales process being in any way, shape or form quick. But what we typically see when companies are floated on the New York Stock Exchange, the announcements typically come on Friday. And why does that happen? It happens for a reason. The reason it happens, of course, is because whenever that announcement is made, the stock price will go up. If we make that announcement Friday after the close off the New York Stock Exchange, what you will get then is a weekend for investors to settle. Everybody, the excitement kind of dies down a little bit, and then we go back to work on Monday. If they make that call on Monday, then you're going to see those stock prices go up. That might explain why we're seeing the likes of Leon Cooperman buying into this club, putting 16 million on the table to buy around about 1.8% overall. And that's just trying to turn a quick buck. That's trying to make a quick bit of money if he can. And certainly for me, really interesting times coming up for Manchester United, guys. Get those thoughts in down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking at this moment in time. Yeah, Jean-Claude Blanc, an exciting appointment incoming. Really, the two things you guys have to think of when you think of this guy Blanc coming in as CEO, the two main things he has done in his career in the footballing world. Number one is restored Juventus to their glory days. Number two is transformed PSG into a powerhouse of a club. And those are the two big achievements he has so far. We are a team that needs to be brought back into the light. We are a team that needs restored to our old glories. We're also a team as well that is a bit of a sleeping giant. The commercial appeal of United, if we can work towards clearing the debt, if we can work towards improving on that, and if we are more successful, what this club would be able to do in terms of sponsorships, in terms of actually running this club, the brand deals we could get with a proper CEO, with a competitive team who are going to be doing bits on the pitch, it's genuinely frightening. It really, really is. It does feel like we're a sleeping giant. And look, I know everybody hears the words brand deals, we see sponsorships, we think that's only going to benefit the Glazer family, but what that's really going to do as well, guys, is manage to get more and more money in to Manchester United. And what that's going to do is we can go and we can buy a lot of players, we can make some really big changes to the team, we can make some really big developments to our team. Luke Chapman's down below. Northampton Town were in the cup yesterday. That one leaked. Was it? Oh, the recycle. Oh, right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I mean, Northampton's an interesting team at the minute as well. I'm not too sure if you guys are still in the cup as well for the FA Cup. Don't know if you guys got knocked out as well. Drop a like on the video. Keep voting on the poll as well if you guys haven't already. Now, let me have some check at some of the other stories I want to go through tonight as well. Some very, very exciting times, certainly, in terms of the takeover, in terms of what's actually going to be happening as well. Jean-Claude Blanc definitely going to become the new CEO at Manchester United. Now, interestingly, John Murtoughs' role is under threat. Now, it's not an immediate threat, but what it is that his job will probably go at some point. I would expect that to be soon. At the minute, because nothing has happened, he is carrying out his normal duties. He's away watching international matches, doing some scouting work, putting the groundwork in for future deals. That will be something he will be doing, of course, because day to day he has not been sacked. He is still in his position, but that's going to change pretty soon as well, with the likes of Paul Mitchell, Dougie Freedman, Michael Edwards, names like that floating about. They're just going to see John Murtoughs out the door. Really, I cannot speak enough about how much of an impact and how much of an upgrade this is going to be for our team. Going from Arnold to Blanc, going from Murtagh to Mitchell, going from Darren Fletcher to Freedman, going from Murtagh to Michael Edwards. These are the type of changes we need to be seeing, and these are the type of changes that are going to make the biggest difference of all to this football club. And I think genuinely, definitely an exciting time to be a Manchester United fan. This takeover, been a long time waiting. It's been a long time. It's been over 12 months. We have been sitting here discussing this at least once a week, normally several times a week, truth be told. But we're getting to the good part. This is the exciting part, and I'm sure you guys are as ready for it as I am. Definitely some interesting stuff as well. I want to get talking as well. Alejandro Garnacho is out of the Argentina squad. Not too sure if that's an injury problem with him. Hopefully not, because we've got enough injuries this year already. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below for that there one. And certainly, look, some interesting signings and some interesting stuff we want to get talking about for the upcoming windows. Now, look, January transfer window, it's going to be important for us. It's going to be something we need to do to strengthen the team. It's going to be something we need to work upon if we're really going to go out there and have a competitive end to the season. We need reinforcements, and it does look like the money might be there for Erin Ten Hag to make those types of reinforcements, to make those changes at our football club. And that's definitely exciting. That is exciting news. We're looking at right backs, we're looking at centre backs, and we might be looking at a striker. Some of the names being talked about for those defensive positions, we're looking at Jean-Claire Todibo. We're looking as well, Sacha Boey, a right back, of course, from Galatasaray. Would be an interesting one. Not quite the style of player I would have went for in that position, but I mean, I can kind of get it. And Todibo, I think, is a really good signing as well. In terms of strikers, we're looking Mehdi Taremi, we're looking at Krstovic as well. So we are kind of looking on the cheaper end of things, but hopefully some of these players can make a difference if they come in. Look, I don't want to see us just buying players for the sake of it and then having a brand new team coming in to really try to get the best out of these players, or having to remove them and improve upon them after just a couple of months. We want to avoid that. We really do. But yeah, look, interestingly enough, I want to flag up another story because I just spotted it for anyone interested. Looks like Everton might find themselves in some trouble with financial fair play rules. As we know, they have been charged. There is talk of a 12-point deduction this week. What's that going to mean for Man City? Because Man City are cooking the books like nothing else. Apparently got the highest revenues in all of football. This is Man City we're talking about in terms of money coming in. I mean, it's the global fan base is just not there for Man City. Like, I really cannot see those numbers being in any way, shape, or form legit whatsoever, really. What does that there mean for them? I mean, if Everton found guilty of one charge, it's a 12-point deduction. What's going to happen to Man City? I mean, that's going to be certainly an interesting thing to watch out for as well. In terms of the poll, guys, 59% say yes, sacking Arnold was the right move. 29% are asking, is that even a question? Of course it's the right move. And 12% are saying no, it was not the right move by Sir Jim Ratcliffe to get rid of Richard Arnold. I think he had to go. I think I'm surprised he's lasted this long. I didn't think Arnold would really survive the Mason Greenwood debacle. All that went down there, I just don't think really covered himself in any glory. And I think it's definitely the right call to remove the guy from his position. Certainly for me, I think it's a call that had to be made. I think it's a call that was needed, and I think it's the right move by Manchester United to get rid of this guy, by Ratcliffe. Bring your own people in. And look, we've been talking about this for a long time. A structure is so important to what we want to do as a team, what we're aiming to do as a team. Certainly for me, there's no point in Jim Ratcliffe giving a lot of money to the likes of John Murtoughs, to Richard Arnold, to Darren Fletcher, the existing staff who have presided over 10, 15 years of decadence, of really bad signings time and time and time again. I mean, we spent as much as anybody on our team, £1.4 billion on that team we see play for Manchester United, and you could not spend that money any worse. So I completely think this is the right call. I know we want to see players, I know we want to see signings, I know we want to see immediate changes to our football club, but certainly for me, if we're talking in terms of what we're looking to do moving forward, if we want to be bringing in hit after hit, success after success for these types of players, and do that in a relatively quick period of time, because look, it's been 10 years since we've been competitive, it's been 10 years since we've won a Premier League title, then this is the way to do it. We can't just blindly throw money at it anymore. We have to go out, spend the money in a smart way, we have to use that money in the right way, and that's going to make the biggest difference of all, in my opinion. Giving the right guys the power to make the changes needed on the pitch and off the pitch, that's really going to help this team develop, improve, move, go through those gears and really start to strengthen as an overall team. And that is something that Manchester United fans have to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you guys are as well. Really, really and truly. Drop a like on the video, guys. We're up to 12 likes. Looks like a quieter stream tonight as well at the moment. Let me see as well, with some other stuff I wanted to go through. There was some talk of player sales, namely Anthony Martial and Jadon Sancho. Donny van de Beek, another player being talked about as leaving Manchester United. I mean, look, these are the kind of players we need to be selling. I really can't say I'm surprised. I think the big one's going to be Casemiro and Varane. Now, these are interesting calls. We've got to get them right, because going into this season, both Varane and Casemiro were really, really, really important players for us. Born is down there. Hello, do you think the deal involves a future full sale? Yes, I do. Absolutely, I think it involves the future full sale of this club. I really can't see it not including that. I think Ratcliffe wants full control eventually. So it's going to be in writing, it's going to be in a plan, and it's going to be organised in that sense. And yeah, look, I would expect this to happen. I would be stunned if it wasn't. I would really, really would be. I think, yeah, look, it's definitely a needed call. It's definitely something we have to be doing. And I'm positive Ratcliffe will do it. Look, whilst a lot of people have their doubts over the guy, rightly so, for keeping the Glazer family on board, for working with them in the first place, he is a businessman. He's a very, very good businessman, very successful. And if he says he wants full control, he will be getting it. No doubt in my mind. This is very, very serious guy we're dealing with. It's not the Glazer jokes. It's not those wastes of space. It's genuinely a man who does know what he wants to get out of it. Is it perfect? No, because I would ideally not like to have any kind of Glazer family involvement at our football club anymore. It's not what we want to see. It's not what the fans want to see. It's not what the club want to see. But if this is the only way, then I'm positive Ratcliffe has an agreement written down that he will buy them out. It might be 25% this year. It might be a further 25% next year. It might be 25% after that. It might be 25% after that. In 3 and 4 years, he owns the entire football club. That could be something he looks to do. I would like that. I think getting us off the New York Stock Exchange will be a smart move. I just don't think it sets the right precedent at our club. The fact that a football club in itself is listed as a public company, it's just not what this club should be about. It's not what the game is about. And as well as that, look, Ratcliffe himself, even Ineos, as big a company they are, earning 65 billion a year, they're a private company. They're not on the stock exchange. Ratcliffe and 2 friends and business partners own the entire company between them. Only 3 men. So Ratcliffe, from what I've read up from the statements we have seen that they have made and some of these sources talking about them throughout the media, throughout the press, he wants to have as little red tape as possible. He does not like anything getting in the way of effective and quick decision making. That's what he really values. He likes speed. If he thinks something needs to be done, it needs to be done. If we have to do something, he doesn't want hold-ups on it. So I definitely think he will have a plan to buy out all of the Glazer stuff as well. It definitely will involve the future full sale. It's just how we get there. I think that will all be announced. I think it has to be at some point. And yeah, look, I think that's a good move. I really, really do. It's a good comment, so thanks very much for that one as well, man. But I do think that's going to be the plan. I think, looking at how he operates, looking how he's worked around with everything. I mean, Stephen is on there. Unless Qatar buy United, we will never win a title again. I mean, I wanted. I definitely was one of those really looking forward and really looking to get the full seal, and I recognised that Radcliffe is not the way to do that immediately. I do, and I definitely would have said it over the summer and a lot of throughout a lot of the sales process that Qatar would be the ones buying the club, and I definitely thought it was going to happen. Ultimately, it hasn't. Ultimately, it hasn't. As much as we might have wanted it, as much as it could make the massive difference, and perhaps what Radcliffe can do in 5 years, Qatar could have done in 1 year. Maybe they could have done that, but ultimately, it hasn't happened. They didn't offer enough money for the club, and ultimately, it's going to Radcliffe. So I'm kind of in that boat now. If it's going to be Sir Jim, it's going to be Sir Jim. It has to work, though. That's my big thing. And I'm liking what he's doing so far, I think. Yeah, Arnold's gone. I think Murtagh should be next. Bring in Blanc, bring in Mitchell, bring in Friedman, Michael Edwards. Bring in loads of people who know what they're going to do. Completely shake this, shake up Manchester United, shake up everything this club is about. And that's how we're going to get back to the top. Having the right people making those calls is going to make a bigger difference than throwing any amount of money around that's possible. I mean, we could spend £1 billion extra in 5 years. Would that make a difference with the guys we currently have making the calls? I really don't think it would do. Our problem has never really been not having enough money to spend. It's just buying some of the worst players and getting the worst value for money out of any team I've seen in the transfer market, in the transfer window. And that, for me, is definitely a massive, massive concern. And it's something that we need to be working on for sure. Guys, get those thoughts in down below as well. 21 votes on the poll as well. 62% are saying sacking Richard Arnold was the right move. 10% saying no. 29% saying asking is it even a question in the first place. Certainly for me, it's the right call. I think it's the smartest way to work it, and I think it's what we've got to be doing. Yeah, look, I want full seal. I still will never be fully happy until it's happened. Stephen says you still have £1 billion of debt. Just let that sink in. Yeah, look, that's the big thing, man. You know, until the Glazers are gone, until the debt is gone, we're always going to have that hanging over us. We are. Absolutely, we are. Make no mistake about it. Sorry. Yeah, make no mistake about it. Like, that will be something hanging over our heads for many years to come. It's the sooner that debt is gone, the better. Yes, the sooner the Glazer family are gone, the better. Ultimately, it's going to be down to Radcliffe himself what we're going to do with that debt. Now, there was talk at one point that Radcliffe would be paying the debt off. If he does that, that's a big step towards what we need to be doing. But we're going to have to wait and find out where we go there. Old Trafford still isn't a 21st century stadium. No, it's not. It's not. I think the 250 million he's going to put in to work on the stadium, yeah, I mean, that's going to help, but it's not going to be enough probably. But certainly for me, it steps in the right direction. It is steps in the right direction as well. Pressy's down there, the boys. Cap lock is stuck. Yeah, look, it's one of these things, guys. But look, interestingly enough, Paul Mitchell being talked about from he's previously at Monaco, Tottenham, Southampton. He's at Leipzig Group. Of course, Michael Edwards, the man who really masterminded Liverpool's transfer strategy, was down there as well. Where's the money coming from to rebuild Old Trafford and Carrington? More debt looks to be coming from personal money. Stephen, I don't know where Radcliffe's going to be getting that money from, but it does look to be his own funding. Look, make no mistake about it, if we are bought over by Ineos, which is going to happen, and they take out a loan to pay for that, then that will be their debt, not our debt. And that, I mean, debt. The word debt does scare us. But not all debt is bad debt either. It's like if your parents take out a loan from the bank and give you the money, it's your parents' money that they have to pay back. It's not your money, for instance. But that's kind of what we're looking at. Is it ideal? Absolutely not. Would I want a full buyout? Would I want fully Glazer family out? Yeah, absolutely I would. Absolutely I would. And that's what I wanted all along from this. But unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves. We're either we're either gonna have to accept it, or we're just gonna have to be annoyed about it. Look, everybody's got a right to their own opinion. If we don't want to give Radcliffe the opportunity and the chance to really make a difference, or if you're gonna view him as a guy who's come in definite as a Glazer sympathizer, then yeah, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I completely get that. I completely understand it. But I do think that it's what I would call the best chance we have, really, because the Qataris are not buying over, unfortunately. Nobody else has been in the race for a very long time. So it's just going to be where we go from here. Where do we move from here? Where do we get from here? And what's the steps forward? I think going back to what Bourne was asking, there definitely will be a plan for a full buyout. That will happen 100%. That will be part of Radcliffe's plan. Look, he doesn't like working with a lot of other people. He doesn't like the red tape. He doesn't like having to get people's approval to do stuff. So as soon as he can get rid of that obligation, he definitely will be doing that. For sure he will. Let me see what else we got down below. Any more thoughts? Make sure to get them in. And keep those comments coming as well, guys. Some good comments out there so far today. Really do appreciate some of that there one as well. Interestingly enough, Manchester United played a behind closed doors friendly match against Hull City yesterday. Anthony Donny van de Beek played. According to United Stand, it finished 1-1 in that match. But I mean, it's probably just academy players combined with some of the fringe players. I mean, if Donny van de Beek's playing, it's not a full Manchester United team. Make no mistake about it. Let's see, Chrissy's done their best we can do. It's the best we can get at the moment, and not what we want, but better than nothing. Yeah, look, I think that's a good point. I would definitely agree with that as well. I think it's one of those. Is it what we wanted 12 months ago? No. But is it what we're getting? Yes. So is it in our best interest for this to work out? Absolutely it is. And it will be in it will be in the Glazers' best interest for this to work out as well. Their big plan was to hold on and hope that the value of our football club increases. And the way they do that is by allowing Sir Jim Ratcliffe to be successful, not standing in his way when he wants to make big decisions. I think getting rid of Richard Arnold is definitely a step that's going to prove decisive, and it's a really interesting one as well. Richard Arnold was a Glazer man. He was a man brought in alongside Ed Woodward 16 years ago who helped to buy over this football club for the Glazer family, give us the debt, give us the Glazers in the first place. Always has been, always will be an enemy of the football club, an enemy of the fans, always will be, without a shadow of a doubt. So I think it's really interesting that the Glazers have sanctioned his departure from the club, that the Glazers are letting him go in the first place. I think that's a really interesting that's a really interesting decision. And I think, is this a step towards Radcliffe just being able to do what he wants whilst the Glazers take the money out and just take their money as they go along? It might well be. They've never had a lot of interest in the club. They've never had massive concerns over Manchester United. So is that going to be a case that they're going to allow Radcliffe to run the club, build up the value, make them richer in the process, and then sell on later to Radcliffe? That might be the way we go. That might be the call of the day, and that might be how we're going to operate moving into the future. Is it ideal? Probably not. I mean, I don't want them here, but it's going to be what it's going to be. Unfortunately. So look, I want to have a look as well. United Puppeteers were talking about some stuff earlier as well. As expected, Richard Arnold set to leave. The Ineos deal is nearing announcement. People have begun to be notified of impending changes as of the weekend. As they understand it, the Ineos appointments cannot be made after owners and directors tests are completed, after which Jean-Claude Blanc, as of now, will be the CEO, and discussions will continue with sporting directors. Ineos focus on overhauling the major sporting structure. Let's see, Stephen. I'm not going for Radcliffe. He's not got the money to buy the club. Another Michael Knighton. I don't think he's a Michael Knighton, really. I think he's got a bit more money than Michael Knighton. Chrissy is saying as well. Another reason. Do we know another truthful reason behind his departure? If we're talking Arnold, yes, we do, because it has come to light, and I don't know if everyone has seen this information, but it has come to light that the Glazer family basically had agreed to sell Manchester United to Jim Ratcliffe months ago, and this would have been for, I think, around the 50% kind of offer he made around May/June time. Richard Arnold was the guy who got the board against that. He was the one who got the board against that bid. He wanted to have the Qatari ownership. It was Richard Arnold who were really pushing for that. And once the Ratcliffe deal was going to be done, that's where we're going to find it. That's where we're going to find Richard Arnold jumping ship, because he nailed his colours to the Qatari mast, and ultimately that ship sailed without him. It didn't happen for him. I don't know. I really don't know. I think, yeah, look, that's disappointing, because we could have had this done by now. This process was held up. Ultimately, it had to be ratified, and Richard Arnold got the other 6 members of the board on side. They backed the wrong horse, and I think they will be going eventually. Look, Richard Arnold is not to blame for the state of the club. At the minute, it's been a longer thing than Richard Arnold has been the actual CEO of United, but he's definitely a consequence of the legacy of the Glazers at our football club. It really, really is. Stephen goes on there, goes, the fan base is weak. It's ego and vanity with Radcliffe. I mean, yeah, look, don't get me wrong. There is parts of ego and vanity in this. Make no mistake about that. That is something that has been brought to light. He wants to do this for a legacy project. He wants to do this because he's not interested in taking the money out of the club. He wants to do this because he wants the club back to where it is. Is that an egotistical move? Yeah, absolutely it is. Absolutely. That is an egotistical move. But it's probably better than the alternative. Ultimately, the Qataris didn't have enough and didn't offer enough really for the Glazers to accept. I wish they did, because I would like the Glazer family out in the morning. I really would. Stephen says Radcliffe will buy a new player and everyone will be ordering home shirt and complain when we are 30 points behind the nosy neighbours. I mean, yeah, look, it's like I said, man. Look, it's not going to be an immediate change. It's not going to be the immediate turnaround maybe we wanted. But it's definitely steps in the right direction. And as much of a mess as the club is now, as much of dire straits as we are in on the pitch and off the pitch at this moment in time, it's definitely going to be an improvement. And right now, we don't find ourselves too far behind the rest of the pack. Are we a mile off City? Yes, but I wouldn't say we are as far behind the likes of Newcastle United on the pitch at the moment. That might change over the summer, but at the minute, we're not too far behind. I actually think we're ahead of them in the league. I would say the same with the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal. I do think with a couple of good signings, we probably could catch up to them relatively quickly. Look, taking over City, trying to wrestle that Premier League dominance off them, it's going to be a hard task. That is a really, really difficult task. Because look, for the last, 10 years of the Premier League, it hasn't been about who the best team is. It's going to be who's going to come closest to Man City, who might win if City get a couple of injuries and drop some points. You have to be almost perfect. You have to clear 90 points if you want to win the Premier League at the minute. You have to win 30 out of 38 matches. There is so little room for error, and that's going to take a long time for United to really bridge that gap. But the guys we're bringing in, it's making sense. It's starting to point in the right direction. But are we moving yet? No, we're not. We're not moving as of yet. We are slowly but surely turning ourselves around, facing the area we need to go. There might be light at the end of the tunnel. It might be a very, very long tunnel, but we are going to get there. And it might be a long journey. It might take 2 to 3 years of proper ownership, proper running of the club from the top to the bottom to get us back to where we can compete with Man City. But I think we can do it. I really do. I really do. Do I think Radcliffe's perfect? No, I don't. Do I think it's the best option on the table? Yes, because it's the only option on the table at the minute. Chrissy is saying, Qatar is going to get you nowhere. If you don't have Radcliffe, you have the Glazers. As it stands, chill and accept what you're given. I mean, I would tend to agree with that as well, because I just think it's kind of like you can't pin your horses on Qatar anymore. Everybody, whenever the takeover race was happening, whenever we were having bids every other week, when we were having different meetings with the Qataris, with Radcliffe, there was a bid one week, a Radcliffe bid one week, a Qatari bid the next week, and things were really moving quickly, and everybody was going up, everybody was going, and the bids were moving, the bids were flying. I mean, yeah, you could definitely pin your colours to the Qatari mast, you could definitely say, yeah, these are the guys we want to have running the club. And a lot of people did. And I definitely thought for a long, long time it was the best offer on the table. And I still think if the Qataris came in and they did buy over the club in its entirety and got rid of the Glazer family, brought the right people in, that would definitely fast track us to where we want to be. It really would do. It would take us like, I said over the summer what Ratcliffe could do in 5 years, working to buy the Glazer family out, investing the money fully, working towards a better and more sustainable Man United with proper ambitions who want to win stuff. If that took him 5 years, the Qataris had the money to do it in 2 years. But it was always about getting that right as well from the get-go. So that was always a concern for me as well. Chrissy says, look at it, things can't get any worse. I mean, yeah, I think brighter days are coming. We have had our last day. We have had our very last match as a football club with 100% Glazer control. From here on in, the Glazer control will weaken and weaken. It will. It will. And that's nothing but a good thing. That is absolutely nothing but a good thing for our football club, for our fan base, and where we want to be as a team. It really is the best. It's the best case scenario at the minute, because the alternative is that the Glazers held on. And I remember the reaction. I remember the sense of dread when the Qataris pulled out and there was no official announcement on Ratcliffe, and there was talk that the Glazers might stay in charge and try sell the club in 2 to 3 years' time. We had an entire summer of that they were looking for 10 billion for the actual football club. And that was such a gut-wrenching feeling. That was such a horrible feeling, because we as a fan base know until Glazers are gone, until we have a fully competent, fully committed ownership, that nothing is ever going to happen in terms of that. Stephen says, what has the Ratcliffe ever done in football? Nothing. I mean, yeah, look, it's fairly limited. It is. But what I will say this, it's not going to be Jim Ratcliffe making the calls. He's going to appoint the best people in the world to make those decisions for him. That's what he's done at Nice. Look at Nice as a case study. Last season was a very, very poor season for Nice, and there was real discontent. What Ratcliffe and Ineos did was they backed off. They gave more power to the people who knew what they were doing, the footballing people, to make those calls. And now Nice are top of the French league, unbeaten, ahead of PSG with all that Qatari money. So it just goes to prove that footballing people making the right calls will always build a top team. It will happen. Stephen says Glazers will never sell to Ineos or Ratcliffe. I mean, who says who? I mean, it is going to be done. It's going to be done, I would say, Friday. Friday we will get the announcements, in my opinion. Reason why we're going to get Friday, obviously, New York Stock Exchange, you cannot be announcing big changes and buyouts midweek, because that's going to just jump the share price, and then it'll tank, and then there'll be market issues with that. You always seem to get it on a Friday right after the markets close, so the weekend can come in and settle things down in that regard. Certainly. Chrissy's down there. Stop throwing your toys at the pram because you didn't get shake. Ratcliffe isn't great, but he's better than what we currently have. Yeah, look, that's my point of view. I think, yeah, look, it's an improvement. Is it what we wanted? Would we like unlimited money, a no Glazer family, and a brand new Old Trafford, and £1 billion for players, and a brand new stadium, and a brand new training facilities, and a brand new youth setup, and a brand new recruitment team? Everything from day one. Yeah, we definitely would do. But ultimately, it didn't happen. Announced what? Ratcliffe is a season ticket holder at Chelsea. I mean, yeah, he is. He is. That is true, and that will always be levelled against him. But club will be announcing to New York Stock Exchange that it's done on Friday. That will happen, in my opinion. From what I've seen, from what I'm reading, it's the most likely scenario that does get announced very, very soon, and that will be coming in pretty immediately with near enough immediate effect, I would say. Any more thoughts, guys? Keep getting them in. Keep voting on the poll as well. 68% think it's the right call to sack Richard Arnold. 24% is it even a question. And only 8% of you guys are saying, yeah, do what? Maybe it's not the right call. Maybe we should keep Richard Arnold. Maybe Richard Arnold is in the chat. Maybe that's what's going on here as well. Maybe he saw his face in the thumbnail, decided to click on. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below. If you guys haven't already, make sure you're hitting that sub button as well. And yeah, just keep those thoughts coming in. We'll stay on for another 10 minutes or so, probably. I want to go through a couple more pieces of information out there that we can go through. Let me double check. Yeah, we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho, I guess. Once again, welcome back to Sancho Town. So Juventus have contacted United over the possibility of a loan move for Sancho. It is understood, however, they are unwilling to pay the bulk of his £350,000 a week wages or even a loan fee. Sancho has also refused to apologise to Erin Ten Hag and end their personal feud, despite being urged to do so by both senior figures at the club and by his teammates as well. Rajat is down there. Good to see you, man. Hope all is good as well. Thanks for joining in with us. Yeah, I mean, look, Sancho, it's just to be expected. That guy's never going to kick a ball for us again, and I don't think he should do either. I would be stunned if I see Sancho back in a United kit. I really would be. And look, even if Erin Ten Hag gets the sack, and a lot of you guys think maybe he should, and it's definitely a common feeling in the fan base for sure that maybe Ten Hag should get sacked at some point if the results do not pick up, if the performances do not pick up. Certainly for me, yeah, look, I can understand it. I really can. Do I think that Erin Ten Hag successor is going to look at Sancho, look at the actions, look at the behavior, and say, Joe, what? Yeah, we're going to take this guy back. Let's give this guy another go. I don't think they will. I don't think top managers will look at it from that point of view. I would be really surprised if they did. And it's going to be an interesting one. It sure is. What's going to happen with Sancho? I would like to see him sold. I would like to see Anthony sold as well. I would love to see Casemiro sold, Varane sold, Martial, Van de Beek. Really got this team out, bring some brand new players in. I think that's what we need to be seeing. I think that's what we've got to be doing. And certainly for me, that's going to make a big difference to us on the pitch. That's going to make a massive difference to what we see as a football club, for sure. Rajat said he will ball out for Juventus or maybe go back to Dortmund or Bundesliga. I mean, he might do, but I just can't see him. I just can't see it happening at Manchester United. I'd be really surprised if it did. Honestly, I really would be surprised if Jadon Sancho turned it around at our football club. Do I think he can? Yeah, he's got all the talent in the world. Rajat said give Anthony one last year. I mean, yeah, I think it's just the way it's going this year, man. I said over the summer this would be a big year for the guy. I expected a lot more for him. Stephen said Ten Hag's a bum. We play the worst football in the top 10. Jasper said you'll see Sancho getting played very soon. I mean, if not at United, I just can't see it happening at this team. I really can't, because I think the guys who are working with him and the senior staff and all are going to look at it and say, look, this guy refused to apologise for so long. There was question marks over the training, question marks over his performances on the pitch. I mean, that's my concern. I like Sancho. I think there's a hell of a player in there. So talented. But I just can't see it ever happening. Chatsworth would play Anthony at left back. I would play Anthony left back on the bench, maybe. I don't know. I think I'm done with the guy as well. Like, just a sheer lack of ability. I think we just played too much for him. It's like we paid £80 million for a system player to bring into a system that doesn't exist yet. I mean, that's an Erin Ten Hag signing, and that's an Erin Ten Hag problem that he's made by himself. Honestly. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in. What are you guys making about what do you call him? Arnold going as well? For everyone joining in. Rajat said wing back. Christy says neither is an option. Sancho will outlive Ten Hag, says Stephen. I don't know, man. I don't know. I genuinely think Sancho's going to go in January. So unless Ten Hag is sacked between now and the end of the year, which could happen, it could happen. But somehow we are the most informed team in the league. I don't know how that's happened either. Genuinely, I really don't know. I do not understand that one whatsoever. But yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting one. I personally can't see Sancho lasting too much longer. I think they'll want to cash in. I do. I really do. Rajat said, won't it be hard to get Ignacio in January? Yeah, probably will be, man. It will be hard to sign anyone in January. Teams will not want to lose their best players. And then in January, you get Wout Weghorst signings, you get Sabitzer signings, not the top level signings that we need. I mean, that's my concern. I don't want to just buy players for the sake of buying them and then we're stuck with these guys because we bought them because we panicked. Like, a proper football club wouldn't find themselves in this position. They just wouldn't. They would not be finding themselves needing to panic buy players, because they would already have the players in check. They would already have planned out that scenario. We would be proactive instead of reactive. We would be anticipating problems before they even came up. We wouldn't be having to sit here and say we have no centre backs. What are we going to do? Stephen's on there. If the fan base had any backbone, Glazers would never have been here for 18 years. Clayton go to the club as well. Absolutely. Yeah, look, I mean, until the Glazers are gone, yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, there wasn't a lot we could really do as a fan base, because we couldn't, there wasn't the money there for anyone really to rival them. It's one of those things. It's like, if it wasn't for the Rock of Gibraltar and the feud that Sir Alex Ferguson had with other owners at the club, I mean, we mightn't have seen the Glazer family brought in the first place. All this over a horse is genuinely, it does seem ridiculous to think about. Jasper said, Ratcliffe, if true, he's taking over the football side. Sancho is an asset, and I'd appreciating one of that. Ratcliffe will not like that. No, he won't. Only the 58 have set up to the Glazers. Yeah, look, definitely. I mean, we as a fan base have been sold out and betrayed, not just by the club, not just by the guys running the show, but I would even say by the official fans. If we're looking at Must, Man United Supporters Trust, which is the official voice for Manchester United fans in the club's eye, I mean, they have facilitated so much. They have been so weak every single time when we have demanded that they pressure the club and pressure the board, because they do get listened to. There's meant to be an advisor, or at least a fan representative, sitting in on some meetings and stuff from Must. It's nothing but weakness. It's nothing but politics in there. It's nothing but it's just symbolic. Richard Ten Hag has a play style. He will try to play his Ajax way. He doesn't have the players to execute it. Hence why he wanted Kim Man Beast and Frankie de Jong. Yeah, look, he didn't get a lot of those. He did not get a lot of those players, and of course he didn't. Would be a much bigger team, much better team if we had Kim and Jai and De Jong. Murtagh is leaving in January, says Rijat. It probably will be, yes. And the reason why we want to say this is because John Murtagh has chose not to walk away from the job. Richard Arnold chose to jump before he was pushed. Rijat, leave now. WTF is this? Leaving right now? What is it? What is it, Rijat, man? I don't get it. Remember who brought the Glazers? Because Ferguson, says Stephen. I mean, yes and no. They're already at the club. Rocket Gibraltar, yes. They had about 3%, and they managed to buy up the place pretty quickly. But yeah, in terms of what Rijat's saying as well, Murtagh will probably leave in January. That will be something that happens. Arnold has chose to jump before he is pushed. Murtagh is choosing to hang on. So that's just it's a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Ultimately. Oh yeah, we want to see we want to see Murtagh go, but he's choosing to stay at the minute. Why does he have to wait to leave? It's probably because we have the ownership test that the Premier League will do on Ratcliffe, so that has to be done, which will take a while. And until then, he can't officially appoint his own people. That's why this guy Patrick Stewart is now the CEO of Man United. It's an interim job. So once all that's done as well, Arnold's just a fat Ed Woodward. Yeah, man. Look, I saw the official meetings joke going about, and Arnold could only turn up if there was sausage rolls and buns and stuff as well. I seen that. It did make me laugh. Stephen says Maguire and JP McManus screwed Ferguson over. Yeah, I mean, they sold out over a horse. Like, it is comical how the biggest club in England, the biggest club in the world, has died a death over the last 10 years or more, even, all over a horse like that. That's genuinely what it's coming down to. If you know, you know. If you don't, it is an interesting story for sure to read up on. All right, guys, I'm going to leave the stream here, so thanks so much for watching. We'll be back on live tomorrow as well, same time, 7 p.m. UK time. Much appreciated for everyone joining in, and I will catch everyone tomorrow.